And here it is, guys. This is a barn find, so to speak. That means locked in a barn for a long time and somebody found it, which was me. Although it's been sitting in a parking lot for the last 2 years under a cover. This is a 1987 Buick Regal Grand National. This car, where can I start with this car other than it's got some dilapidation from sitting, but it's not so far gone that it's not worth anything. In fact, it's only got 34,000 original miles on it, and I don't think it's been washed in probably 15 years. The reason this car is so cool was a couple of reasons. One, it's fully loaded. It's got digital dash, it's a T-top, and it's got concert sound. I don't know of any other options they came with. And I've heard that it's unusual to have those three together. Of course, this car was probably the best muscle car of the 80s, even better than my 86 Mustang GT back there, which is supposed to be getting painted next week. Anyway, this car was powerful, looked great. It had the G-body chassis was always pretty good for GM. And it was just, you know, it changed the image of Buick when they originally came out, which I believe the Grand National was debuted in '82. They also had a T-Type, and there was a GNX. This is not a GNX, but a GNX is a rare one. Anyway, back to the car. This car is completely bone stock, no modifications whatsoever. And the reason that that's important is because most of these cars were either kept locked away and have ultra low mileage, and the people want insane prices for them if you can even find one. Or they were raced and ragged and had the stew beat out of them from modifications. Well, this car kind of is the difference, okay? It's not been modified. It's got low mileage on it, but it wasn't kept as a trailer queen, locked away. So, obviously you can see there's some flaws in it, but this car will be a really cheap, really quick, and really easy car to make look brand new. And I've decided to make some videos on this car to show you exactly what it takes to go through what I do with these things. And some of you might like it, some of you might not. Feel free to tune it out if you want to. But if you're a car person at all like me, I'm very fortunate that I'm able to do this stuff, and I'm happy to share it with anybody that cares. So, anyway, this car has a title from 1989 when the previous owner I got it from bought it, and it's Carfaxed, no hits, there's no rust, no significant rust or surface rust underneath. So let's check her out a little bit more. As you'll see, there's emblems that go on the side of this false hood scoop or power dome hood, and they were accidentally knocked off by a polishing attempt. But the paint is original. These cars did not have good paint from the factory. It just wasn't that great. But we're going to bring this back to life. I'm not going to repaint this car. Just the parts that need it, and I'll show you that in a minute. This is the stock engine, and this is what an engine looks like when it gets stored under a car cover for, I don't know, 10, 15 years. You get a little surface rust, you get a little corrosion, you get spider webs, you get spider eggs, you get dirt, and you get probably a lot of the stuff underneath here will need to be replaced. Pretty sure this is the first production car to use a coil pack or a distributorless ignition system first American production car. So we'll go through that and make sure it's good. And everything else looks to be intact. Needs to be cleaned up, for sure. The battery held a charge. I've already charged the battery. The under hood insulation still looks pretty good. A couple little flaws in it, but it's no biggie. The bumper fillers, this area here, are known for rotting out, and this car is no exception. The cover was beaten on these for a while in the headlight bezels, so we'll take care of that. And of course, I have 2 lifts here at the shop, so probably put it on the big lift and go through the suspension and make sure it's all good. Put shocks on it, clean it up, check the brakes. Now the wheels are in much better shape than they look. I think they're going to clean up really nice, but they have not been washed in years, that's for sure. So we'll see what we can do with those. All the emblems are good. The T-tops are good. The window scrapes need to be replaced, obviously. And I've already charged the battery, like I said. Now the passenger seat's never been sat in, and neither has the back seat. The passenger side visor is removed for some reason. It needs a headliner. And there's one split in the driver's seat bottom. And the horn button's broke. Everything else looks completely salvageable. Oh, and there's a crack in the speaker grill. That's no biggie. So, turn this key on here. And as you can see, well, it's out of gas. Digital gauges still work good. And the current odometer reading is 34,047 miles. So, there's extra parts that were included with the car. We'll go through those. See what we got. Let's see if we can check the trunk out. Okay, here's what we got here in the trunk. We got some rust here, and it gets a little bit worse behind this edge, which is actually pretty normal for a lot of cars to get that. I've already looked over this car and documented what I could and what I could research. The trunk is clean. Really no major issues. You can buy these bumper fillers, online. They're no big deal. We'll paint those and put them on. This is the important thing of any of these cars like this, when you can document the options. And as you can see, the third column from the right, 5th line down, you'll see WE2. Well, that is the code for blacked out paint, which came on Grand Nationals. At least this is what I researched. And if you ever see a Grand National that does not have WE2 in that build sheet, then it's probably a fake, because people fake them sometimes. So, a little knowledge for you there. Door panels are in good shape. So this has been in the shop for maybe 4 hours now, and maybe about 6 hours. So like I said, I'm going to make some videos of this car because I've had so many people ask me questions about the Toyotas. Where'd you get it painted? Who painted it? What did it look like before? Blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to show you this time so I don't have to answer all that mess. And probably in about a month, you'll see me driving around Bradenton in this car with the T-tops out. And it's going to be cool. Super cool. So stay tuned, and you'll see some really good stuff.